This is the NFL Draft Report on 101 ESPN, featuring Tony Softli and Howard Balzer.
I'm Howard Balzer, and Tony Softli is here once again as we continue our draft preview video version on 101ESPN.com. And before we get into what we're going to talk about, a little quiet time in the National Football League, except for attorneys arguing. All we've got right now, Tony, unless something changes, is the draft. It's going to be a very interesting offseason.
Yeah, there's no question. After the Super Bowl is over, the next biggest event is the NFL draft, excluding the combine. But the draft is the biggest showpiece right now, and the excitement's building for that. The teams are getting ready. They're working guys out. The executives are putting the guys on the board, trying to figure out who's who in the zoo, and it's going to be interesting.
Well, speaking of the zoo, M-I-Z-Z-O-U, Mizzou, as we discussed this week, and is very timely, Thursday, a big day at Columbia. Yep. It's Missouri's Pro Day, and for the first time, I don't know, in recent memory, or maybe not in any memory, two players likely to go in the first round for the Tigers in the draft. Quarterback Blaine Gabbert, defensive end Aldon Smith. Let's start with Blaine Gabbert. Some have him rated ahead of Cam Newton. Others have Newton. It's probably going to jockey back and forth. But I want to get from your perspective, with your history and personnel, what does Blaine Gabbert really have to show and gain on Thursday, considering he did not throw at the Combine?
Well, Howard, I think what he has to do is he's got to show that he can come from underneath the center, very comfortable, that he's got a smooth transition in his 3, 5, and 7-step drop. He's got to be able to make all the throws, which you see that on film, which was different than Cam Newton. This guy makes the throws over the top. He can throw it beyond the linebacker in front of the safety. He can take touch off the ball. He can find the open receivers. So he has to continue to do that. And I think in the closed sessions, he has to continue to impress. All the executives are going to be there to watch him on the blackboard. He's got to be able to regurgitate the information, and he's a smart kid, so he'll be able to do it.
Now, in our top 32, which is very close to being unveiled on 101ESPN.com, we each have our top 32, irregardless of the teams, just the top players. You right now have Cam Newton ahead of Blaine Gabbert. I have Gabbert ahead of Newton. It's close, but that's just the way we have it right now. If you see from Blaine Gabbert the things you want to see, could your ratings change, or are you pretty locked in the way it is now? And how many times do ratings change based on a pro day?
Well, you know what? Really, I go back and look at their DNA. I'm going to have a chance to look at some tapes up there that I didn't get a chance to see during the year, and that really will answer a lot of questions for me. I'll also go back and look at 2009 season as well. So that's what I'm looking for most. But I want to see his footwork. I want to see his transition. I want to see him rock and throw the ball. I want to see his accuracy. I want to see everything. The workout will not determine if I move him up or down, but that 2009 tape and that 2010 DNA sure will.
Let's move to Aldon Smith, a freakish athlete at defensive end, a very strong year in this draft for defensive ends. There's a lot of guys that are ranked to go in the top 20 to 25. Aldon Smith's probably in there. A lot of people are saying he's moving up boards. I would think that he has a real opportunity to show some things on Thursday, although, like you said, the tape doesn't lie. Everyone pretty much knows what he can do. How much can he help himself, maybe hurt himself on Thursday?
Well, you know, the thing I like about Aldon is he's a very good athlete. His pass rush skills are very good. What I don't like, and it's starting to bother me, and again, I will look at more tape on him, he's still raw against the run. Point of attack, he's very unpolished, he's inconsistent, he's got the wiry frame. I don't know how that's going to compound with the NFL tackles that he's going to have to go up against. Some people are talking about putting him in as a 3-4 outside linebacker. That's one thing I want to see. I want to see him be able to drop in space, his awareness in space, how he reads and reacts. So there's a lot of questions for him. Is it a 4-3? Is it a 3-4? So, you know, he's on the spotlight as well.
Well, they'll be putting their wares on display at Columbia on Thursday. And, of course, we'll be covering it and bringing it all to you and having even more discussion as we continue previewing the NFL draft here on 101ESPN.com.